Where did you get that? There's no way. Quite an entrance.
Fire Emblem Awakening is a turn-based RPG for the 3DS, and it's made by the same developer who make one of my all-time favorite games, Advance Wars.
The game hasn't left my 3DS since it came out. It's like a cross between my two favorite things, XCOM and Game of Thrones. If it just fired chocolate into my mouth while I played, I would probably never do anything else.
Fire Emblems have been trickling out of Japan since 1990.
Lisa, run. I mean it, go!
This is the 13th iteration, positioning you as a tactician in charge of a rebellion in a besieged land.
It is unfortunately a very traditional Japanese RPG action plotline, and by traditional I mean it's been done quite a bit.
What?
You play a character who wakes up without a memory, but you have prophetic visions of scary stuff. Come on, Japan, you've used that plotline already.
Yes, I'm starting to think the whole amnesia storyline thing will forever be a part of the gaming landscape. Now, Dave, I know that we're both mature adults, and neither of us picked a rude name just to get a cheap laugh with this game.
No way, poop face.
Really?
I think we can both agree that the storyline is a bit convoluted in general. There's time travel, magic swords, villages to protect. This is some of the finest turn-based strategy that I think we've ever seen.
Alas for you.
You have a grid with varied terrain, and you select units to fight against an enemy army. There's bonuses for hiding in foliage and fortified structures, and you always need to be a few steps ahead, making sure you're not leaving a unit vulnerable. You collect units during the course of the game and level them up accordingly to how often you use them. It's familiar territory for Fire Emblem fans, but this one does do some new stuff, and it pretty much does everything better and prettier than the previous games. And the 3D is incredible. It looked like I could just reach out and touch that grit flying across the screen.
Yeah, the 3D is quite exceptional in cutscenes.
Tell me, who taught you to fight like that?
More than any other Fire Emblem game, this version does a remarkable job of teaching you everything gradually over the first few levels. Concepts like leveling up your characters, what the various classes do, how to use items, and so on.
This version of Fire Emblem has two modes, Classic, which is permadeath, and Newcomer, where you can revive fallen units.
Weak. Sissy mode, that's what it should be called.
Hey, I'm Classic all the way, baby.
Unfortunately for me, it tries too hard to make itself accessible, which I think removes all the challenge from the game.
Classic mode is the way to play Fire Emblem because it makes every single decision you make that much more calculated. When characters reach level 10, you can use a Master Seal to upgrade them with a special elite version of their class. For example, a Cavalier can become a Paladin or a Great Knight, and these transformations are spectacular. And I like that because it gives you a little goal for the characters you like the most to get them to level 10.
Yes, they get a huge stat boost, get to use new weapons, get a fancy new set of threads, and if two characters fight side by side often enough, they start to assist each other in battle. Anything from lobbing a spell or an arrow from the sidelines to actually jumping in front of the other character while they are being attacked. Which is amazing the first time it happens. And when the characters help each other, little love hearts come out of their heads.
Aww. They do a great job of humanizing the characters, don't they? They have their own little personalities. Some of them are quite funny, some are plain arrogant, and some are both.
I love that all the characters have their own birthdays. If you visit the barracks from the map menu on their birthday, they get a little raise in stats and a present.
Street Pass is also useful. You can set up a team to send out and receive other teams, which gives longevity to the game. And there's heaps of DLC and random gifts for you, additional teams from past Fire Emblems with leaders to defeat and recruit.
I like Street Pass, but depends where you are. Like, in America, it's amazing. Not so great in outback Australia. Although in America I did meet Obama. I think a lot of the joy to be had in this game is from building your roster, building the relationships within that roster, and developing your characters.
Yeah, you're so used to RPGs that just develop one character or maybe a small team, but here you're pretty much building an entire army.
Yes, of badasses. The units are very weak and basic to begin with, but they level up quickly, and they do start you off with one tricked-out warrior to begin with, a badass knight called Frederick.
Yes, he's awesome, and he knows he's awesome.
Pick a god and pray.
Intimidating.
Very. I always struggle to keep everyone leveled up in this game, and arguably that's half the fun, but when you've got someone really low level and you're fighting tough dudes, you kind of have to, bring them in just for the last second to get a bit of easy, safe XP, otherwise they'll just get one-shotted.
Yeah, like you're holding down a zombie going, quickly slap them in the face! One early level has you babysitting a little villager named Donald. He's a farmer with a saucepan for a helmet. If you protect him and level him up, you get to use him as a playable character if you can be bothered to continue to babysit him. You can change his class if you get him to level 10, and getting him there is an incredible feat. It's like training a Shih Tzu to take down lions, and there's something really satisfying about having him leveled up as a great knight still with the saucepan on his head.
Thanks, friend.
Also, I accidentally hit a button on a touchscreen during the battle animation, and it switched to first-person view. A happy accident indeed. Watching the action in 3D from the character's perspective is incredible.
I love that there are so many options with the animations, because I like to play with all of those kind of battle animations turned off and everything sped up as much as possible. But when you go to a boss fight, it still plays out the cutscene for that particular boss. Fantastic.
Go, go!
There's also 3 levels of zoom on the map, 2 different ways to display character stats, and you can adjust the opacity of the map. I love it when you can tailor the experience to the way you want to play it.
Yeah, and the characters grow together too.
Yes, and they can even get married.
Yes, and when they do, they fight even better together. It is actually nice to see characters develop that bond though, and really boost each other's stats and defend each other. I've really only got one tiny criticism of this game, and it's purely cosmetic. This is weird, Bajo. The characters have tiny, almost non-existent feet.
Well, apart from the feet issue, I take it you're recommending this game, Dave.
Absolutely, just an amazing array of customization, characterization, brilliant mission structure, special abilities and items. Just too good. I'm giving it 10 rubber chickens. It's not a 3DS anymore, it's a Fire Emblem holder. What about you, Bajo?
I love this game too. I just love thinking about all the strategies, setting up those attack patterns and working with bottlenecks. And the lessons you learn from this game are so important, such as when you accidentally move your Pegasus into archer range for the first time. Oh, the pain. Oh. I'm giving it 9.5 out of 10 rubber chickens.